M&M Financial, for one, is up 1.5%, and this has been a steady mover. It's been one of the outperformers within the mid-cap pack as well. 322 is where the stock's trading at. Let's get in a sense from the management as to how they're likely to focus on business in 2014 and how the dynamics are going to play out. So the management joins in right now. Mr. Ramesh Iyer is the MD at the company. So thanks very much for taking out the time. In this year particularly, from a stock perspective, M&M Financials has been an outperformer, created immense investor wealth. Shareholders are pretty, happy with the kind of performance the stock has shown and the business prospects of the company. How are you stepping into 2014 in terms of a business prospect?
See, as far as we're concerned, we continue to follow our strategy of going more deeper into the rural market, and we believe that the India rural story will continue to do well. Whether it's vehicles, whether it's tractors, which is where our strength is. So we are opening more branches, we are covering the landscape, going even more deeper. So I believe that, a model like this, which is exactly been formed on the basis of customer needs, I believe will continue to do well.
So what are the growth rates that you are targeting?
Maybe, I may not want to put a number out to that, but clearly we do see that every manufacturer is looking at, for their own growth, they are looking at rural as one big opportunity. So that's going to be one growth driver that we will participate in almost all vehicles of any brand that gets sold in that market. We would be one good enabler. The second is we've got into financing of second-hand vehicles, whether it's cars, tractors, UVs. And we do see that that's another very large opportunity because we would see people graduating from a smaller vehicle or from a two-wheeler to a four-wheeler. And we see there is a good opportunity for participating in financing of second-hand vehicle. The third initiative is going to be clearly, we have a very large customer base. We have servicing close to 2.5 million customers already across 200,000 villages of the country. And we want to use them as our ambassadors to say, is there more customers in the village who are looking at buying of vehicles, and therefore are we the enablers? So if you kind of put all of this together, I don't think there is going to be much pressure on the asset side for any growth. But just putting an absolute number may not be the right thing. But I don't think we are under any huge pressure on the asset side of, is there an opportunity to grow further from where we are?
Right, so I understand that you don't want to put any numbers right now, but for the company, it's been one of, within its peers, it's been the one that's given the highest ROAs and ROAs. So will you be able to sustain them?
We don't see any pressure on our net interest margins yet. Again, net interest margins is of two components. One, of course, what's our borrowing cost and what is the overall yields on which we operate. And as I said, if we get into little more of the pre-owned vehicle financing, that only improves the margins any further. And as far as the ROA is concerned, it's again an outcome of how many times have you really leveraged your capital, and we have kind of stayed at around 5.5 at our best in the past. So ensuring a return on equity on the basis of the net interest margins, and of course more importantly how well we control the quality of asset. If you kind of look at steadily, our asset quality has been maintained from a very high 3-4 years back to levels of below 4 in terms of gross NPLs are concerned. So, maintaining margins again is not a challenge, and given our strategy that we're going to be more closer to customer, understanding the customer needs, our entire product designing is based on customer needs, and that's what helps maintain the margin, maintain the quality, bring down the cost of operation, and therefore protect the return on asset.
So you spoke about branch expansion, and that's been the case with most of the financial entities throughout this year. What are your own expansion plans?
What we started off earlier was covering the district headquarters, and through the district headquarters we tried to cover the villages that's possible, and which is why we today on a pan-India basis run close to about 700 branches. But clearly we see that if we are today covering 200,000 villages, and India being 600,000 villages, I think the scope for growth for us is to cover the other 400,000 village. So we may take another 3 to 4 years to cover at least additionally another 200,000 village. So our next expansion program that we are talking is actually setting up of villages in the, the branches in the villages. So from a village we would cover a cluster of about 5-10 villages. So we would open close to about 50 odd branches in the next 6 months or so, which will cover X thousand villages over a period of time. And that's going to be the direction that we will take. And we are setting for ourselves a target to say in the next 3 to 5 years, how do we cover at least 150 to 200,000 village.
Right. So now that you're not, you've withdrawn from getting a banking license, where are the energies and the focus going to be for M&M Financial now?
See, from the time we've listed this company in 2006, if you see, we've been accessing the capital market once in 2 years. And we've been maintaining a growth rate of about 25% plus. Even in November, when we raised 1 year back, when we raised, did our QIP, right, we said exactly that I think the fundraising at this stage is good enough for our 2 years of growth. I think we continue to maintain that stand to say that we are okay with the current capital adequacy of about 18% that we have is good enough to see us through the 2014. So somewhere in the middle of 2014, in the sense of F15 middle is what you would see us once more accessing the capital market. But I think otherwise we are comfortable in terms of capital raise is concerned. With or without banking, I think the capital raise that we did in the past was to augment the growth of the NBFC, and that's on track.
Now, are you planning to foray into any newer segments?
See, we got into heavy commercial vehicle about 18 months back or around that time. Unfortunately, the industry wasn't doing too well, so we went slow on this. Today, we really are not a very significant player in the heavy commercial vehicle segment, even though we do some small numbers, but we largely are focusing on LCVs and pickups and those kind of vehicle range. But our belief is clearly commercial vehicles, is a segment which will bounce back, and that will be really a good growth story from our side to look at. And as I said, when we get into heavy commercial vehicle, we will also be a player participating in the construction equipment segment, though not the heavy construction equipments, but at least the smaller ones and the mid-size ones. And then of course, we are still a very small player when it comes to second-hand vehicle financing. It's only about 7 to 10% of our balance sheet comes from second-hand vehicle. We expect that can grow from 10 to a 15% level even in the growth balance sheet. So second-hand vehicle financing, coming back into commercial vehicle financing, participating in construction equipment financing, and parallelly maintaining the market share or growing the market share in the what you call the utility vehicle segment, the tractor segment, the car segment is going to be the collective growth that we will drive.
What according to you will be the key growth drivers going ahead for M&M Financial?
See, as far as two matured portfolios of ours are concerned, they are the utility vehicle segment of the Mahindra range of vehicles, the tractors and Maruti cars are the three segment where we have a very significant volumes already done or a balance sheet that we are already managing. So there the growth would come from of course the absolute numbers of this manufacturer and a little of our market share increase that we will drive from these markets. But apart from all of this, we will look at cars beyond Maruti as one segment. We would look at, as I said, LCV as one good segment to look at for growth. The second-hand vehicle segment for growth, and of course by the time if the commercial vehicle industry does show some change of event there, and I think therefore commercial vehicle segment would also participate. I would put the 3 or 4 products to be the growth story for us, apart from increasing market share in our matured products.
Right. So, last year we've seen 3 rate cuts, 2 rate hikes. This year, what are the expectations from a company like yourself from the RBI?
See, clearly, you're right, from January onwards there have been talk about interest rates to come off and everybody was expecting it. 3-4 months after that, the hopes were not very high to look at rate cuts happening. I think going forward, if the economy had to revive this year, the agri output would be very good and we do expect good participation from that segment. To believe that the interest rates must come off, otherwise that's going to be an additional burden on the borrowers as well as buyers of vehicle. That could be one of the reasons why the buying is a little low. So expectation wise, definitely one would see if the interest rates can come off, that would help, restart the industry in some form.
And any policy and regulatory changes that, NBFCs such as yourself have been seeking?
I think one thing which has been under discussion is to relook at the securitization rules which were revised a couple of months back. And securitization has been a good liquidity support in as far as the NBFCs are concerned, but it's also been a good support for the banking system for buying priority sector assets from the NBFCs. So we would expect that a revisit to look at the securitization the way it is currently, and if that can be relooked, and it may help the industry to in a way participate much better into the rural operations.
And anything else that's at the top of your mind right now with regards to key business strategies going ahead?
I think clearly we have two subsidiary companies. One is the Mahindra Rural Housing Company and another is the Insurance Distribution Company. And we do hope and believe clearly that the rural housing has a substantial potential and capability to grow into a very large business. And we are one player who have really gone very deep into the rural market and are providing house improvement loans, room addition loans, and the ticket size is as low as a lakh and lakh and a half. And we see there's a large requirement of a loan of this type. We are today in about 7-8 states. We do expect that we will expand this to more states in the coming years, and we see that balance sheet growing extremely well and to a large size. So far as the insurance distribution is concerned, again, insurance is very low penetration in the rural market. We are one broking company which is really taking products to that market, and we do believe that will play a significant role in even distribution of these products, and that can contribute to a larger profit in terms of the overall financial services sector operations are concerned for us.
Right. Mr. Iyer, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking out the time. The management of M&M Financial talking about the business prospects of the company. 322 on the stock.